Well, hello everyone. My name is Gökçen Pürsöken and I'm making these videos from Basel, Switzerland, now together with John. So thank you, John, again.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to try to recap first one. And the reason I want to do this is because we're going to recap how the brain works. And the reason I want to do this is because I'm going to use it in later. You're going to see how it sort of becomes part of the type of therapy I end up doing. Basically, your brain evolved to be a prediction machine. And so what it's actually trying to do, it's actually trying to predict into the next moment in order to tell the body what it has to do next. So it does that in two basic ways. It takes information from your body. So let's say you got a sore stomach, it will register that. And this also includes your thoughts. And it will combine that with all the information it gets from the external world through your senses. That will actually come together in the brain, and a part of the brain called the thalamus. And the thalamus will build a working model of reality in any given moment. And from there, the other parts of the brain will try to come together to figure out what's going on and then be able to predict how the body should respond next. So for example, if something is very stressful, it will engage parts of the body that will prepare the body for a stress reaction. And that's basically what the brain is trying to do in any given moment. This becomes important in mental health because if you're depressed, for example, it's because that model that the brain is creating in any given moment is telling that you're under threat. And so depression is a reaction to that. It's what you get from being under threat for that moment, okay? And I'll talk more about that later on. So today we're going to do a series of short videos on sort of a general overview of mental health and sort of the way it looks. And I'll start with the question a lot of people get confused over, which is what's the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist or a therapist of any kind? And I know this, I'll go into more detail on this later. We'll make this a separate thing. Basically, it comes down to this. A psychiatrist is a medical physician specializing in the brain and in mental health problems. A psychologist is not a physician. And what this means in an everyday sort of thing is that psychiatrists can do assessment, diagnosis, and treatment. The psychiatrist has treatment options which are medication and talk therapy. The psychologist, and in fact any other therapist, does an assessment, does diagnosis, and does treatment. They only have one treatment option, and that's basically just talk therapy. So the main difference between the two is you can only get medication, like say antidepressants, anti-anxiety, antipsychotic medication. You can only get that from a psychiatrist. Everybody else, including the psychiatrist, can do talk therapy. My experience has been that most psychiatry right now does assessment, diagnosis, and only treats with medication, that they don't take the time to do therapy. It might be different here in Basel, but they don't take the time to do it because their income level would shift dramatically if they took more time, right? So they can do that piece fairly quickly, and they leave the rest of it to us guys, right, to do it. So if you have any questions on that, please feel free to write down in the comments below because I'll come back to this at a later time, okay?